Indiana is for real. They win at Oregon. That was the most important game of the Big Ten schedule so far this year. It's been a day of upsets. Penn State lost again to Northwestern. We'll get to that eventually. UCLA won again. I mean, my goodness. And Michigan playing USC tonight. It's a live edition of Locked On Big Ten. Strap down. We're going to be here for a while here on Locked On Big Ten Live.
You are Locked On Big Ten, your daily podcast on the Big Ten Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Big Ten Live. I'm Craig Sheeman, 40 years as a sports talk show host and play-by-play announcer, and I want to thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts, and of course on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And, of course, you hit that free subscribe button. If you're just discovering us here on a Saturday night, hit the subscribe button. That way you'll never miss a single episode. And if you could share, follow, and like, that would be great as well. Because we're here every day, by the way. You can also hype YouTube videos as well. This episode is brought to you by Mazda. Just like there's more to every player, more dedication, more attention to detail, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Stay tuned later in the episode for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward. Mazda, move and be moved. So IU, Oregon, they're for real, people. They're for real. And Oregon suffers its first loss ever as a member of the Big Ten in the regular season. We'll get to the other upsets too, and your live comments. Get them. You get my immediate reaction. I get yours too when we do this on Saturdays. But let's jump into it. So Indiana goes into Oregon, Autzen Stadium, one of the hardest places to play in the country. And, of course, 18 straight home wins for Oregon. That's the longest in FBS. And this thing was huge from the get-go. You heard Curt Cignetti say in his post-game interview, I kind of had a feeling, and I think Hoosier fans did have a feeling, although they were 7.5-point underdogs in this game. They win 30-20 up there. Let's pick it up. First play of the game, Oregon's Dante Moore gets sacked one of 6 times today. The Indiana defense was incredible up front. Then there was the fourth down Indiana play where they stuffed Oregon on that first drive. Jordan Davison at the 46-yard line. So IU gets the ball, and IU all day long, aggressive passing. Mendoza finding Elijah Sarratt for a 24-yard pass. That was there all day. In fact, Sarratt finished with 8 catches, 121 yards, and a touchdown in that game. Indiana has to settle for a field goal, though. They take the points early on. They're up 3-0. And then Oregon gets the ball, answers with a 3-and-out. D'Angelo Pond's making a tackle. He was back into the lineup. Remember, he missed the Iowa game. They had planned the whole defense around him, and then he was a late scratch from the Iowa game. He made a tackle on that drive. He also had a pass breakup. Oregon has to punt the ball. So Indiana comes up passing again. They had a false start. A lot of penalties with that offensive line today. Part of it was the crowd noise. Part of it was Oregon likes to shift side to side, and it got the guys moving just a little bit. Mendoza gets sacked here on this drive for just the 6th time all year, and they ended up punting. Then there was a delay of game. They had to punt from the end zone at this point. So Oregon now down 3-0 gets the ball on their own 48-yard line in pretty good shape. Dante Moore hits Malik Benson for the big play, the 44-yard play, because they got behind the IU secondary. They got smoked. Amari Farrell they got behind him out there. And so Oregon gets on the scoreboard with that touchdown. Big play. We're going to see a lot of big plays from Oregon today. They are certainly capable of it, but Indiana did a pretty good job of holding them in check. So 7-3, Oregon at this point. They take the lead with 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. IU gets the ball back, and Mendoza finds Omar Cooper after the bootleg rollout for 11 yards. Kalen Black, a 14-yard run. Mendoza back to Cooper for 11-yard. That 11-yard pass was there most of the day for the Hoosiers. Then there was another 11-yard pass to Cooper to the 23-yard line. Roman Hemby, a 6-yard run to the 17. And Indiana gets into a first-and-goal situation at the 3. Hemby punches it in. Indiana retakes the lead now 10-7 after a 9-play, 75-yard drive. We got 15 seconds to go in the first quarter at this point. Into the second quarter, Oregon with the ball. Dante Moore rolling out on a 3rd down and short to the Oregon 34-yard line. There was a 4th and 1. Dan Lanning decides to go for it. Jordan Davison had some nice plays today. He ran for 8 yards, got the first down. Then he had the 26-yard run after that. Remember that, down to the 32-yard line. There was a holding penalty, though. So now Oregon's looking at 3rd and 11. Key play here. So Moore's about to get sacked. Does that little shuffle pass for no gain, and it stopped. Indiana thinks it got off the field. But there was a flag. Indiana with defensive holding. Again, penalties kept hurting Indiana throughout the day, believe it or not, after a 30-20 win. But then on 3rd and 6, Aiden Fisher got a sack of Moore on a rollout scramble. They have to settle for the field goal with Atticus Sappington right there to tie the game at 10 with 9 minutes to go in the second quarter. It's a nice 12-play drive, but it stalled for the Ducks. They had to settle for the field goal, and Indiana gets the ball back. Again, Mendoza to Sarratt, 9 yards, 9 yards, 11 yards, 11 yards. It was there all day. It was a nice little bullet pass on the back shoulder to Sarratt. On the next play, they tried it again. Incomplete, and Sarratt was absolutely interfered with, pass interference. But the back judge missed the call completely. And so Curt Cignetti just went ballistic on the sideline, drew a warning. I think they went easy on him there, in my opinion. They instead of giving him a 15-yard penalty on sportsmanlike or anything, I think they went easy on him because I think they realized they messed up the previous non-pass interference play. So Indiana has to punt eventually on this drive, so things weren't going their way. Oregon gets the ball on their own 21, 3rd and 10. Dante Moore sacked again. He's sacked again by Isaiah Jones. 12-yard loss. They got a punt. The Indiana front four were excellent in this game. So Indiana, about 6.5 minutes to go in the half. They're on their own 30. Mendoza to Sarratt. He broke a couple tackles, got 16 yards to the 46. Mendoza now to Omar Cooper. He made a nice over-the-head one-armed catch, but then spun out of the tackle to get 5 more yards for an 11-yard play to the 43. But then 3rd and 9, and all of a sudden this Indiana drive stalls. They have to punt. They couldn't get anybody open. So Oregon's got the ball at the 10-yard line. We're at the 2-minute timeout at the front end at the first half. Gary Bryant breaks one for 18 yards, or catches one from Dante Moore for 18 yards. Corin Moore, 18 yards to the IU 23. Then they had a false start. But then they settled for a field goal, 36-yard field goal with 24 seconds to go. So did it look like Oregon would be going into the locker room up 13? That's the field goal they missed. That's the field goal they missed. They were looking to go up 13-10. They missed the field goal. It was a short 36-yard field goal that they missed. So Indiana gets the ball back. Just seconds left in the half. Roman Hemby runs for 14. Elijah Sarratt with another 11-yard catch to the 45. Now there's 13 seconds to go. Then they got the pass interference play. And meanwhile, they get Radicic in position for a 58-yard field goal attempt. He makes it. So Indiana goes in the lead. What a swing that was. That was a 6-point swing, those final minute or two of the first half. So Indiana up 13-10 at the half. Indiana was doing a fantastic job tackling all day, in addition to getting pressure up front. So that's how we go into the second half. Indiana gets the ball first in the second half. They go 3 and out. Again, Oregon's defense was doing a pretty good job too. So they got a punt. Oregon at the 34-yard line. They do a fair catch. Moore finds Kenyon Sadiq for 13 yards, who had a quiet day today. There was a holding that Indiana declined. And they wanted to keep it 3rd down, 3rd and 11. Oregon gets a short gain and then have to punt. So good decision and strategy there by Cignetti. But the punt was great because it was the fake, non-fake punt. It looked like it was a fake, that it wasn't, that they kicked it. They still got it 48 yards, pins Indiana down to the 2-yard line, and they go 3 and out. They got a punt from their own end zone. Very precarious situation for the Hoosiers there. Oregon at the 38-yard line of Indiana. They're just not really getting much going here. And they have to, from 4th and 2, they put Sappington back out there to kick a short 33-yard field goal, but this ties the game. Dan Lanning wasn't going to leave the points on the field there. So they tie the game at 13, 7 minutes to go in the third. Indiana, even though they had a pass interference when they were on offense by Oregon, they got the 3rd down at this point. Indiana is just 1 of 7 on third downs. Mendoza draw run play for the first down into Oregon territory. Roman Hemby 8 yards. Sarratt 11 yards again. How many times have we said that already? Mendoza to Hemby for 22 yards down to the 10. There was the pass interference in the end zone. There was the first down for the 2, and Hemby punched it in for the touchdown. And Indiana takes the lead here, 20-13, 2 minutes to go in the third, another 9-play, 75-yard drive. And Oregon followed that up with a 3rd and 11 situation where Dante Moore got sacked by Kellen Wyatt. It's the 5th time he had been sacked, and Oregon has to punt the ball. Indiana's got all the momentum in the world here. So on this punt, they fair catch it at their 14, but even though Indiana had all the momentum in the world, this is where they made their one big mistake. Mendoza throws a pick 6 to Brandon Feeney, who returns at 35 yards for the touchdown, and it was only the 2nd interception that Mendoza had thrown all season long. And all of a sudden, Oregon is tied at 20. We got 12 minutes to go in the game. The crowd is going nuts at Autzen Stadium. And Indiana, all that momentum they had, it's gone. It is absolutely gone. So we're tied at 20, and we're down to a 12-minute game. So Indiana gets this offense going again and looking for a lot of Sarratt and Cooper for Mendoza back and forth. And there was the big play, Mendoza to Sarratt for first down for 29 yards down to the 8-yard line. Couple of incomplete passes. 3rd and goal. Indiana calls a timeout. And on the 12th play of the drive, another 75-yard drive, he finds Sarratt with a beautiful pass for the touchdown in the end zone. Everything was fantastic on the Indiana side. 6:20 to go. Indiana takes a 27-20 lead. So Oregon's got to get to work. Dante Moore comes out there. Boom. Intercepted by Lewis Moore, the 24-year-old safety by the Hoosiers. The ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage with 6 minutes to go. And Indiana's able to burn some clock here, get it down to about 2 minutes, 2:06. And Radicic comes out to kick a field goal. Now they're up by 2 scores, 30-20, with like 2 and change to go, 2:03 to go. But Isaiah Jones gets the interception for Indiana. It looks like it's a wrap. But Indiana does not get a first down here, by the way. And Dan Lanning's starting to call timeouts. Eventually, though, Oregon runs out of time. Indiana wins. Indiana 6-0, 3-0 in the Big Ten. Dan Lanning's first loss, Oregon's first loss since they've joined the Big Ten in the regular season. And it was an amazing game. I want to get to your comments. That's how it all set up. Give you my opinion sprinkled in here and there. What was good, what was bad. We'll talk about that. We still have to talk about Penn State. What is going on? They lost to Northwestern today at home, I might add. UCLA won again. Everything's crazy going on in the Big Ten. So we'll talk about all that. We'll get to all your comments, all that coming up. I can't wait as we are live here on a Saturday going into a Sunday, a big day in the Big Ten. Locked On Big Ten Live continues. You know, it's the weekend, and it's time to look back on this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving every time you order. And these players delivered when it matters most. We'll break it down. I got to give it to Elijah Sarratt of Indiana. Phenomenal today. 8 catches, 121 yards, and a touchdown. Damon Williams Jr. for the Washington in their win over Rutgers on Friday as well. Over 500 yards of offense. These guys deliver when the game is on the line. And just like Elijah Sarratt or Damon Williams, DoorDash delivers on your Saturday. So with DoorDash Streaks, you save every Saturday that you order. Stack them up every Saturday, and you can save $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. So order every Saturday and keep your streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo code through November 18th. Watching games is fun. We got NFL action coming up here on Sunday, and it's even more fun with FanDuel. So right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Just pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets across the app. They've got everything there. Point totals, point spreads, player props, everything you need. It's all, you can parlay stuff, futures. It's all right there. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com and download the FanDuel app today and get started. Thanks for checking us out. We are live here on Locked On Big Ten. Of course, the Hoosiers go in to Oregon and win 30-20. Indiana is for real. Indiana is to be taken seriously. I want to get to your comments here, but I still also have to talk about Penn State, what happened against Northwestern today, UCLA on a roll, the Nebraska game against Maryland was crazy back and forth. So let's hit up some comments here, and then we'll get into the games. And don't forget, we've got 3 night games in the Big Ten as well. So, and we're going to go live again today after the Michigan game. Okay, the Michigan USC game. So I just want to give you a heads up there. All right, so let's take a look at some of these comments with what's going on. Ohio State also a nice win over Illinois today as well. Let's see here. First to admit I was wrong. Indiana was the better team today. Oregon looks more like I thought they might be this year. That is Ram checking in with that one. Appreciate that one. Ram also says that Oregon still has until the playoffs to get better. Look, it's just one loss. It's just one loss. Gone Fishing says, for real, I really thought Oregon was a way better team here, and it was mistaken. I think there's going to be a lot of people that have that take as well. YS Betzel says, Hoosiers. There you go. Jeff checking in. The Husker win was not pretty, but sure was gritty. Maryland has a really good quarterback and kept the game interesting. Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. I think Malik Washington Jr. is going to be the freshman of the year in the Big Ten. I know a lot of attention goes to Bryce Underwood at Michigan. Don says, what a dogfight. Hoosiers win. Shane says, wow, what a game. David, longtime Ducks fan. Congrats to IU. And Mike says, I'm an Alabama fan, but I love Indiana. They remind me of the early Saban years at Alabama. Congrats to the Hoosiers. Hope to see you in Indy come December. That is Go Bucks. That's from Blue Dragon. David, what a game. Hate to lose it, but at least it wasn't a bad game. A lot more text like that. Oregon looked like the Ducks of old, according to Chris. Showed glimpses of something. They could not tackle or stop the simple plays. And more congratulations for the Hoosiers. I think there was a lot of people that thought maybe Indiana was good. You know, they remember last year, maybe they weren't ready for prime time with the lighter schedule. I think Indiana knew they were going to go in there and win this game. And I think it opened up a lot of people's eyes in college football. Also, Troy, let's see here. The over-under was at 52. Oh, that's right. They got up to 50. If you like that sort of thing, we do our pigskin picks on Fridays, by the way. David Portnoy checking in. Oregon Ducks. Let's see. Burner account. I knew this was going to happen. Joe says Indiana only plays the teams that stink. Oregon did not stink. Oregon was a top-ranked team. They were up there. So Indiana proved to the college football world they are to be taken seriously. By the way, the game at Penn State, I don't know what to make of that game. What is Penn State? We'll get to that in a moment. Anyway, we'll get to Carla, and a Buckeyes fan is on here. We'll talk about your Buckeyes in a minute. That was pretty good. And she's commenting back and forth with the Ducks people here today as well. So we'll get to all this. Indiana plays a similar style as Miami. I have not heard that. That's from Adrian checking in as well. So, all right, let's get to some of the afternoon games as well as we are live. Don't forget, we are going to go live again later tonight after the Michigan USC game. Okay. Whew, I almost don't know where to start. Well, I know where to start. We're going to start with Penn State here before I lose my voice. So, you know the story. They lost to these Oregon Ducks in the whiteout. They went to UCLA and got beat. That got a lot of people's attention. Then they come home. You figure Northwestern, right? Northwestern won today, guys. Northwestern went into Penn State. Penn State has lost 3 in a row. 2 of those opponents have been to teams that I think Penn State fans and boosters would expect to win easily. 22-21 was the final score. Northwestern got out to an early 3-0 lead on that play, on that game. And I believe, and then I think that's how we went into the second quarter. And Northwestern ended up leading 10-7 with halfway through the second quarter there with a Preston Stone 29-yard touchdown to Griffin Wild. There was even a point in there where Northwestern muffed a punt. Penn State took advantage of it. Nick Singleton ran in for a 2-yard touchdown to go up 14-10. But then Northwestern kicked a field goal to make it 14-13 at the half. That's how it stayed in the third quarter. I think by the end of the first quarter, Penn State fan was nervous. And then nobody does anything in the third quarter. We're going to the fourth quarter, and it's a 1-point lead for Penn State. Northwestern kicked a field goal to up 16-14 the first minute in the fourth quarter. There was the big play, Drew Aller with the 67-yard pass to Devontae Ross. So they took the lead 21-16 under 11 minutes to go. But then Northwestern just put together a 12-play, 75-yard drive down their throat. Caleb Komalafi with a 9-yard touchdown that put them up 22-21. They went for the 2-point conversion. They failed and then ended up just winning the game 22-21. Penn State, I mean, if you thought the rumblings about James Franklin were loud before, I don't know where we're at Penn State. Penn State fan, let's hear from you in the comment section. What is that? What is going on? Where are we? And congratulations to Northwestern. That's a big win. That's the biggest win for David Braun there. Meanwhile, number 1, Ohio State, they beat Illinois today, 34-16. So Ohio State opened up a 20-0 lead in this game at Illinois. Illinois got it to 20-10 in the third. Julian Sayin on the day, 2 touchdown passes. CJ Donaldson, 2 touchdown runs. Scary moment for Jeremiah Smith in this game. He got twisted like a pretzel upside down, landed on his head, really hurt his back. He came back into the game, though. So I'm glad to report that. And Hank Beatty, the big weapon for Illinois, held to just 7 catches and 48 yards on that game. Peyton Pierce had an interception. Ohio State's defense had 3 turnovers. They turned them into 21 points in that game. So number 1, Ohio State will remain so. That was the big noon game on Fox. UCLA, fresh off of their home win against Penn State, they go rolling to Michigan State, and they keep rolling. 38-13. How about that? You know, UCLA actually opened up this game with a 3-and-out, no yards. Michigan State gets the ball, and Aiden Childs has a 2-yard touchdown run, making it 7-0. You're like, okay, is this how this is going to go? UCLA then scored 38 unanswered points. Remarkable. Absolutely. Nico Iamaleava, again, the hero of Penn State, threw 3 touchdown passes. 7 Bruins combined for 238 yards on the ground. The Bruins had a 12-play scoring drive and a couple of 10-play scoring drives. Meanwhile, UCLA's defense held Michigan State to 87 yards on the ground, 166 in the air. And again, UCLA's the talk of the town. And this is a big step back for Jonathan Smith and Michigan State. There's no question about it. Don't forget our Friday night game. If you missed Friday night, Washington's 38-19 win over Rutgers, career night for Washington quarterback Damon Williams Jr. in the air and on the ground. 538 yards of total offense just by him. 402 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, both of them to Denzel Boston, 20-yarder and a 38-yarder. Rushed for 136 yards and a touchdown. He is the 16th player in FBS history to throw for 400 yards and rush for over 100 yards, first since 2023. And he set a school record for 538 yards of total offense. Rutgers kept keying on Jonah Coleman, who had a season-low 44 yards, and so Damon Williams just kept taking off. The Huskies did fall behind in this game by double digits, by the way, but then scored on 4 straight drives to keep this thing going. Not a bad night for Ethan Kaliak-Manis, the Rutgers quarterback as well. Set career highs with 386 passing yards, 30 of 50, threw for 2 touchdowns. Ian Strong, 7 catches, 124 yards as well. Rutgers failed to convert on a couple of 4th downs inside the 10 twice in that game. So that was Friday night's action as well. All right, now the Nebraska-Maryland game, crazy. So Nebraska won 34-31 in an afternoon game. Dylan Raiola, it was fire and ice in 64-yard touchdown passes to Isaiah Hunter. He threw pick sixes the other way. It was crazy. Went back and forth. Maryland took a lead at the half, 24-17 in this game. And then that's when, in the second half, that's when Raiola had the pick 6. So Maryland took a 31-24 lead. But then Raiola and Nebraska settled down. They got a field goal and then a scoring drive for the final margin, 34-31. And again, Malik Washington, if you haven't seen him play, the freshman quarterback from Maryland, you got to watch him play. We'll have more on this game on Monday's podcast as well. We got some night games going on right now. And again, we're going to go live after the USC, Michigan USC game. I want to get a quick update because we're live right now. Iowa is up 10-0 on Wisconsin as we speak. Iowa coming off the bye after a loss to Indiana. Wisconsin has just had all sorts of problems at quarterback, whether it be Billy Edwards and his injury, Danny O'Neal, Hunter Simmons. So we'll talk more about this game on Monday as well, but Iowa up 10-0 here. And also tonight, Purdue is at Minnesota. And, of course, Purdue, after starting the non-conference schedule at 2-0, the Boilers have yet to crack the win column, and that includes a non-con loss to Notre Dame as well. Barry Odom trying to get things going. Meanwhile, Minnesota rebounding from that 42-3 loss at Ohio State. What are you going to do? I mean, Ohio State was just better in all three phases of that game. So the Gophers are going to try and build on some of their previous game momentum when they beat Rutgers, 31-28. Drake Lindsley's a pretty good young quarterback that's getting comfortable at quarterback for Minnesota. And then, of course, a lot of things to look forward to with the Michigan at USC game, one of those uniform games, one of those old Rose Bowl matchups from back in the day. Of course, it'll be at the Coliseum and not the Rose Bowl as well. Sharon Moore told everybody, hey, we're not coming here to take selfies and be impressed being in Los Angeles at the Coliseum. We're here to win this game. Lincoln Riley answered that by saying, no, let's just play the game. Bryce Underwood keeps getting better each and every week. He's getting some chemistry with his 6'5" wide receiver, Donovan McCulley. But Michigan receivers still have a case of the drops. They're dropping the ball all the time. Look for them for a heavy dose of Justice Haynes. He's had a couple of 75-yard runs this year, a couple of 40-yard scores. So Michigan's going to run the ball. USC's going to throw the ball. Jade Maeva just been outstanding. So Michigan DBs better be aware of where receiver Mekhi Lemon is at all times. Again, we are going to go live as soon as that game is over right here. All right. We'll take a couple of more comments. I'll take our first look ahead to next week as we continue. And I'll tell you which game we're going to go live after next week, as well as we continue with a live edition Saturday night into a Sunday morning of Locked On Big Ten. Let me tell you about Mazda, and this is Mazda's Moving the Game Forward, brought to you by those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it, because these moments do more than win. They push what's possible, and they remind us to go that extra yard, shift into that extra gear, keep the game moving forward, much like Washington quarterback Damon Williams Jr. with over 500 yards of offense, or Indiana receiver Elijah Sarratt. Players like that keep the game moving forward. They make the big plays just when you need it, just like Mazda and their attitude toward their cars. And when you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. Thanks for checking us out here on Locked On Big Ten, our live edition here on a Saturday going into a Sunday, and lots to cover here. I want to tell you what we're going to do next weekend as well, because we got some big plans there. And I just want to get something on screen here for you. There we go. Let's take a look at what's going on. Let me take a couple more comments first, just right before we get going. Don says, everybody was wrong about IU. Yes, they were. Let's see here. You Can't Stop Me says it's all about coaching. Gigi says it stinks to be a Penn State fan right now. I've been there as a Michigan fan, he says. Cameron says losing to Indiana is worse than losing to North Carolina. I don't know what that means, but it's a tough day for Oregon. But look, Oregon's a good team, and Indiana's just a little bit better. Gigi also says, I can't believe Penn State. That's right. A lot of you say I was wrong about Oregon, or a lot about Indiana at this point. All right, let's take our first look ahead at week 8. If you can believe we're at week 8. So next week, here's how it's going to go down. First of all, there is a Friday game. It's Nebraska and Minnesota. That'll be at 8 o'clock Eastern on Fox. Saturday, Washington is at Michigan. That'll be the big noon kickoff game on Fox. Purdue is at Northwestern at 3 o'clock on the Big Ten Network. Ohio State rolling into Camp Randall to take on Wisconsin at 3:30 on CBS. Michigan State will be at Indiana. Indiana's on a roll. That's a 3:30 game on Peacock. The Oregon Ducks will have to bounce back. They have to go all the way across the country to take on Rutgers, 6:30 on the Big Ten Network, 3:30 Pacific. Penn State, they got to go to Kinnick Stadium in Iowa, having lost 3 straight. That looks like a tough game. That's 7 o'clock on Eastern time on Peacock. Maryland is at UCLA. They got to go to the West Coast. That'll be at 7 o'clock on FS1. And the big one for the USC Trojans at Notre Dame, 7:30 NBC Saturday night. We will go live after that game around 11 p.m. Eastern time, 8 o'clock Pacific, the big rivalry game. That rivalry looks like it's going away. So USC at Notre Dame, we'll be all over it with our post game late next Saturday night. What a wonderful day. And we're not done yet. My voice holds up. We're going to go live after the Michigan USC game later on. So if I didn't get to your comments or what have you, thank you for checking in. Thank you for checking us out as well. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button because we're here every single day. We just go live on the weekends. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, share, follow, and like Locked On Big Ten as well. Plus, if you could also spread the word. If you're a Big Ten fan, you're watching, you're probably a Big Ten fan. Tell your friends about us that we're here each and every day here at Locked On Big Ten. That'll do it. I'll see you in a few hours. All right. Another live edition right after the Michigan USC game here. Another live edition. Thanks for joining us on this live edition of Locked On Big Ten. I'm Craig Sheeman.